Have you ever noticed how some people seem to defy time? While most feel the weight of the years, others remain steadfast, walking, smiling, living as if they still had decades ahead of them. Is it luck? Genetics? Or perhaps something they put on their plate every day? Keanu Reeves, the actor who has inspired generations with his iconic characters, once shared a phrase that etched itself into the memory of thousands. Life is precious, and time is our scarcest asset. But what few know is that behind this awareness of time, Keanu hides a quiet story of care, discipline, and discovery. A journey that didn't begin in Hollywood studios, but alongside an old four-legged friend, his dog, Buddy. Buddy was already elderly when Keanu started noticing the subtle signs of aging. The morning walk wasn't the same anymore. His eyes looked more tired, and even that youthful enthusiasm for a simple tennis ball seemed to have vanished. It was at this stage that Keanu made a silent promise. He wouldn't let time steal the energy, vitality, and joy that still remained, not from himself, nor from Buddy. That's when it all began. While many turned to expensive treatments, surgeries, or trendy diets, Keanu chose to dive into scientific research, advice from nutritionists, and ancient secrets that have withstood the test of time. What he found was surprising. There are 5 foods, accessible, simple, affordable, and incredibly powerful, that can completely change the way the body ages. But before revealing these foods and how they impacted Keanu and Buddy's lives, I'd like to extend an invitation. If you too value life, if you want to live with more health, energy, and clarity, even as the years go by, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. Here, every video is one more step toward a long and fulfilling life. And if this content helps you, share it with someone you love. Now let's get to the good stuff. The first food is something that has sustained entire generations. Present in the dietary foundation of the world's longest living regions, it's simple, nutritious, and often underestimated: legumes. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas. They're not just ingredients for soups or traditional dishes. They're true natural shields against aging. Keanu discovered this during a trip to Japan while filming scenes for an independent project in Okinawa, one of the regions known as a blue zone, where residents often surpass 100 years with enviable health. There, he observed how much people valued a good bowl of miso soup with tofu and beans. It wasn't just tradition, it was science. Legumes are rich in high-quality plant protein, essential for preserving muscle mass over time, a crucial factor in preventing sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass in the elderly. Plus, they're packed with soluble fiber, which helps regulate the gut, control blood sugar, and even protect the heart. But there's an important detail. To reap all these benefits, you need to prepare them the right way. Keanu learned a simple secret from a 94-year-old Japanese woman. Soaking the grains for 12 hours before cooking reduces anti-nutrients, aids digestion, and boosts nutrient absorption. Since then, this technique became a habit for him, and for Buddy, who loved a bit of mashed beans mixed into his food. The second food was a true revelation for Keanu. He already knew about the benefits of fish, but it was only after a conversation with a nutritionist that he grasped the power of so-called fatty fish, especially sardines and mackerel. What surprised Keanu most was the amount of omega-3, an essential fatty acid the body can't produce, but is vital for brain function, heart health, and even controlling joint inflammation. The doctor told him that people who eat fatty fish at least twice a week reduce their risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's by up to 30%. But, as Keanu learned, not all fish are equal. He began avoiding large fish like tuna and shark due to mercury buildup and focused on small, nutrient-rich options. He always opted for fresh versions, or those canned in extra virgin olive oil, never in soybean oil or high-sodium versions. And once again, Buddy was along for the ride. The pup got bits of sardine at lunch and soon was running around the yard as if time had turned back. The third food is probably the most practical and at the same time, most powerful. Nuts, especially walnuts, cashews, and almonds, are, according to studies, capable of reducing the risk of premature death by up to 20%. And the most fascinating part? Just 2 tablespoons a day are enough to reap these benefits. Keanu discovered this after attending a longevity lecture in Silicon Valley. The speaker, a renowned doctor and researcher, talked about a Harvard study that tracked over 100,000 people for 30 years and proved that regular nut consumption is linked to fewer heart problems, improved brain function, and even prevention of certain cancers. For Keanu, it was a light bulb moment. The next day, he started carrying a small jar of Brazil nuts, walnuts, and almonds in his jacket pocket. Between takes, he'd grab a handful and eat. It was simple, practical, and incredibly effective. And the best part? It required no prep or time. But he also learned something key. Not just any nut will do. Avoid industrialized ones coated in sugar, salt, or refined vegetable oils. The secret is to eat natural nuts, raw or lightly toasted, with no additives. That way, you ensure the good fats actually do their job of protecting the heart and brain. The fourth food might be the most underrated of all. Few talk about it as a superfood, but science is clear. Avocado is a true guardian of the brain and cardiovascular system. Rich in monounsaturated fats, it helps keep arteries clear, lowers bad cholesterol, and boosts the good kind. But what captivated Keanu most was a fact shared by a neuroscientist. Regular avocado consumption is linked to significant improvements in memory and focus in adults over 60, thanks to lutein, a powerful antioxidant that accumulates in the brain and protects neurons. Keanu started eating half an avocado every day, sometimes at breakfast, other times as guacamole with raw veggies. He noticed greater mental clarity, more focus, more presence. But he got a spoonful in his food too, always in moderation, and his coat began to shine again like in the old days. Now we come to the fifth food, and perhaps the oldest of all, present in ancient cultures, mentioned in biblical texts, revered by early peoples as a gift from the gods: garlic. Keanu, a fan of Eastern culture, had heard of the power of raw garlic, but it was after a bad flu during filming in Montreal that he truly saw it in action. A lighting technician gave him an old recipe, a crushed garlic clove with honey taken on an empty stomach. The next day, Keanu felt better. Coincidence? Maybe, but he decided to dig deeper. Garlic is a natural antibiotic, anti-inflammatory, blood pressure regulator, immune booster, and cardiovascular protector. Recent studies show that eating just 1 clove a day can reduce the risk of heart disease by up to 25%, plus help prevent certain cancers, like stomach and colon cancer. But there's a trick. You need to wait a few minutes after crushing it before consuming. This time allows allicin, the compound behind most of its benefits, to form. And of course, avoid cooking it at very high temperatures. Ideally, add garlic at the end of cooking or use it raw. By this point, Keanu had revamped his diet, not based on fads, but on practical, proven, accessible wisdom. These 5 foods became part of his routine and, surprisingly, Buddy's too. The results? More energy, more stamina, more health, and above all, more quality time, which was all Keanu wanted. But you might be wondering, can food really change that much? The answer is yes, and science is there to prove it. The human body is an extraordinary machine, capable of regenerating tissues, balancing hormones, restoring cells, and protecting the mind. But it needs the right fuel to do so. Sadly, many elderly people don't have access to this knowledge. They remain stuck in diets based on ultra-processed products, low in nutrients, high in sodium, bad fats, and hidden sugars. This not only weakens the body over time, but speeds up the onset of chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's. Keanu knew this. That's why he decided not just to change his habits, but to share this knowledge. He started carrying small portions of cooked legumes, jars of sardines in olive oil, airtight bags of nuts, halves of avocado in thermal containers, and garlic cloves ready to eat. It wasn't a diet. It was a choice to live better and longer. But don't think this change requires a lot of effort. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Start small. For example, Replace the meat in one meal with well-seasoned beans or lentils. Your gut, heart, and muscles will thank you. Swap breakfast processed meats for a slice of avocado with lemon and a drizzle of olive oil. Add shredded sardines and a few nuts to your salad. Use fresh garlic to season steamed veggies or mix it with olive oil and spread it on bread. These small actions, repeated consistently, form an invisible shield in your body. A shield against time, against degeneration, against the premature loss of vitality. And it's not just the body that changes, the mind does too. Keanu noticed this within the first few weeks. He slept better, woke up with more clarity, felt more present, and Buddy reacted too. He started getting up with more energy, barking more often, asking for toys, like the good old days. It was as if both had rediscovered the hidden youth still alive within them. You might not be a movie star. You might not even have a loyal dog like Buddy, but you have something even more valuable, the power to decide, the power to change, to start now, to include natural remedies in your daily diet, and to do it without spending a fortune. Let's recap the 5 essential foods for seniors who want to live longer. Legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, plant protein, fiber, and minerals. Strengthens muscles, regulates the gut, protects the heart, and prevents diabetes. Fatty fish, sardines, mackerel, wild salmon. Omega-3 source, reduces inflammation, boosts memory, protects the heart, and eases joint pain. Nuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios. Good fats, antioxidants, weight control, cholesterol regulation, and prevention of neurodegenerative diseases. Avocado, monounsaturated fat, lutein, folic acid, protects the brain, lowers bad cholesterol, raises the good, and strengthens joints. Garlic, natural antibiotic, regulates blood pressure, boosts immunity, prevents chronic diseases, and even some cancers. Now think about this. What if you made just one of these swaps a week? What if today you went to the store to buy a handful of nuts and an avocado? What if at your next lunch you made rice with lentils and sautéed garlic? You'd be taking concrete, real, powerful steps toward a life with more health, more energy, and fewer pills. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Don't wait for fatigue to become chronic, for your mind to start slipping, or for test results to show what could have been avoided. Prevention starts on your plate, and longevity is built day by day, bite by bite. Keanu and Buddy stayed together for many years after these changes. Buddy lived longer than any vet expected, and Keanu, with his characteristic calm, kept smiling with the serene eyes of someone who'd uncovered a secret many spend their whole lives searching for. Youth isn't in the time that passes, but in the choices you make. Before wrapping up, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation. If this video touched your heart in some way, if you believe life can be fuller, healthier, and longer, like the video right now, and share it with someone who needs this info. Maybe a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a neighbor. We all know someone who could benefit from simple, powerful changes like these. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Here, our commitment is to your health, your longevity, and your well-being. Every week, we bring content grounded in science but delivered in simple, actionable language. Because health shouldn't be a luxury, it should be a right. See you in the next video with more valuable tips for aging with vitality and joy. And remember, the best of life is still ahead. You just need to prepare to live it with health, strength, and awareness.